Hey everybody, it's Tiffany here, and I am really excited to introduce our next trainer for Tac-Con. He will be making his Tac-Con debut this year, but that doesn't mean he's new on the scene. I'm sure all of you have heard of Mr. Scott Jedlinski, but for those of you who have been sleeping under a rock lately, I'll let Jedi introduce himself. Good afternoon, good sir. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell the Tac-Con family a little bit about who you are and the Modern Samurai Project?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It's an extreme honor. So my name is Scott Jedlinski. My nickname is Jedi because the Korean eyes and the Polish last name wake people out. So I've been Jedi since '77, right? You can call me whatever you want, though. What I'm very clear about is my lane, non-mill, non-LE, lifelong martial artist. Started off with Taekwondo, obviously, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai. And for the last upteenth years, it has been Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The reason why I stress that point is the body mechanics that I teach so that you can find the dot on the draw and during recoil. All those body mechanics come from Jiu-Jitsu, not from what I learned in a firearms class, right? I like to say the laws of physics and kinesiology do not change from sport to sport to physical activity to physical activity. There is no reason to change it just because you picked up a gat.
That's actually a perfect segue. So I was going to ask you to tell us about your block. You've got a 4-hour block that you're presenting twice at TacCon, specifically geared towards red dot pistols. So tell us all about what to expect in that block.
Yeah, so we'll go over my philosophy on zeroing, my philosophy on tracking the dot from the draw and on recoil, because that's the biggest problem that people find. You know, when I always ask at the beginning, what do you want to take from my class if there was one thing and only one thing? And it's either A, finding the dot on a quick presentation, or tracking it in recoil. So we get to that in my classes in fairly short order in the first 4 hours. So I'm just going to take that first 4-hour block, and that's what I'm going to be teaching at TacCon. You know, not disingenuous, right? It's a great problem to have. If it wasn't for that problem, I wouldn't be filling classes right now. But so we do that real quick. But the body mechanics that I teach are things that people have heard through, you know, martial arts, Olympic weightlifting, wrestling, sports, all these other things, right? But for some reason, we get to pick up a pistol in our hand and we think we got to do weird things and contort our bodies and stuff. And you don't. Fighting is fighting, shooting is shooting. And generally, people will walk away from my classes getting twice the performance with half the effort.
Excellent. So just real quick, I've been dying to ask you this. What do you say to folks who have been working with irons for years who think that switching to dots is an easy switch, and because now you've got the cheat sheet there and all you got to do is look at the laser and press the little button on your gun? How much more involved is it than that to transition from irons to dots?
Yep, great question. So the one thing, you know, I mean, first you have to look at irons, right? And what are the advantages of irons versus the dot, and what are the deficiencies of irons versus the dot? The only advantage that I personally think that irons have over the dot is that they're always in your peripheral, right? As they come up, you can kind of autocorrect. But because of that, most people's presentations kind of looks like a slithering slake as they punch out and there's all this seismic activity, right? And you can get away with that because the irons are in your peripheral. You can't get away with that with the dot because it's shrouded in in a mount and a hood in an enclosure. But once you get that perfectly efficient, where you can find that, you know, tiny little dot within the enclosure efficiently and quickly, if you want to go back to irons, you will find that your draw on irons actually better, because speed comes from efficiency, efficiency comes from technique. Hard stop, don't care what really anybody says. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, right? But you know, it's not about working harder. It's not about doing 10,000 reps in the corner slowly, smoothly, and, you know, and all that other stuff. It's about the proper technique. And when you have the proper technique, it works right now. And I think that's what I'm kind of known for, making people better quickly while doing less. So.
Yeah, well, in our context and defensive work, right now is good. We like right now, so so that's going to be right up everybody's alley. Scott, I just want to welcome you to Tac-Con. I know that there's quite a buzz about you joining us, and there's plenty of people who are really excited to jump in your class. Everybody, if you want to take a class from Scott, he's on the 100-yard range on Saturday morning, all Saturday morning, and then also again on Sunday. Jedi's repeat class is Sunday morning on Bay 4. All right, so please sign up. Don't miss out on the opportunity to train with him. Bring your red dots and be prepared to improve with lightning speed. All right, Scott, thanks so much. We can't wait to see you in Dallas.
Awesome. It's gonna be great. Pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor.